We are out here in Jacksonville, North Carolina. It's a huge mud bath.
You have to go fast because the talent pool is so deep.
I really want to show people that I can drive fast and I can get a podium.
I want this championship. I'm going to try and get it, and I'm going to drive as smart as I can.
I was so ready to rock.
Honestly, I'm kind of happy that it's muddy. Hopefully all these desert guys are a little out of their comfort zone, and we can take advantage of that.
Welcome to beautiful Onslow County, a short 30-minute drive from the Atlantic Ocean. It's Jacksonville, North Carolina, home to the world-famous Camp LeJeune. Visit JacksonvilleNC.com presents Mystic Terracross Championships. Hi, everybody. Kevin Barnett once again alongside Down and Dirty Radio Show's host, Jim Beaver. Later in the show, we'll see if Jason Luber can continue to hold off the pro class, but first, it's the pro women's division. The story there has been Sarah Price.
That's right, Kevin. Last year's overall champion, Sarah Price. She won both races at our first stop at Heydays this season with some amazing hard charging driving. Things could be a little bit tricky here in Jacksonville for her. First off, she'll have to contend with the mud. Conditions like these can hand even the best drivers some problems. She'll also have to contend with Shelby Anderson. If it wasn't for a mechanical issue at Heydays, Shelby would have beat Sarah Price in one of the finals. Look for Shelby, who's been the bridesmaid to Sarah the past 2 years, to push ahead and try and get that first elusive Terracross victory.
Sarah Price and Shelby Anderson have proven themselves to be amongst the top racers, period. Forget just the women's class as we go to our fly racing track flyover.
Walker Evans whoops to kick things off. Follow those with the Mystic Mangler, always handing some drivers some problems. Big drift style 180-degree corner, nice and flat, backing it in. And then you go into the Fox Proving Grounds. A couple of big doubles here in the Fox Proving Grounds.
Hope you've been spending some time on the slick track out at your local go-kart establishment. You might have an advantage going into this left-hand turn.
Big 180-degree sweeper. We'll see him backing these Polaris Razor 1000s into that corner. That's going to cap off one lap here at Camp LeJeune.
That's what it was supposed to look like. Morton Trucking had to fight Mother Nature.
Oh man, it's been a job. I mean, we couldn't have been, the weather was no favor to us at all this week. We've had 14 inches of rain in 4 days, and I guess Terracross brought it with them when they came because it's rained every day since they've been here. But we did get one day, Monday, we were able to haul in about 125, 30 loads, and then it rained that afternoon. So they've had to work with what they had, and I can't believe they've done the greatest job they've done in the weather they had.
Sun is out. That's a good sign. The Gregory Pool Cat Equipment did all that it could to get this track ready for the Fly Racing Pro Women's class. And remember, Terracross starts with Optimus. So we look at our starting grid. Sarah Price, Shelby Anderson might get some competition from Sierra Romo in the 929, who has been fast. Let's throw it down on track to Lorette Nickel.
Sarah Price, you told me that in order to have a smooth race, you are basically going to let the car drive itself. What are you going to do when you start getting into those deep ruts?
Yeah, honestly, the best thing I can do is work with the car. It knows its fastest way or its smoothest way through the rut, and it's going to go where it wants to go. And last thing I can do is fight it. It's slower. So work with the car and just do my best and stay as smooth as possible. And yeah, hopefully ride it till the win.
And talk about how much mud you're collecting and how heavy that is and what that's doing to you as a driver and the car.
Mud is a huge factor today. These cars are overheating. They're not making it very long. So it's going to be just cruising and trying to stay out of it, honestly. And don't push the car that hard because you need to make it to the end.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Fly Racing Pro Women's Class season points, Price and Anderson class of the class, but others with a shot.
Yeah, Katie Vernola, Jamie Luberg, Jolene Van Vliet got thirds through sixth place, only 3 points separating them. Man, the door's kicked wide open for somebody to step into that podium spot.
Conditions have been challenging. Riverside does not have mud like this for Shelby Anderson to practice. She's more used to Glen Helen and what you might find there. Now, Jamie Luberg Back there in the 525 Commonwealth ride. They get some rain in Zanesville, Ohio. We'll see what kind of mud experience she has. Next to her, Jolene Van Buet in the Rockstar Fly Racing. She's a little more dedicated this year.
Throwing the horns.
I think I'm just trying to apply the things that I learned racing, growing up racing motocross. You know, get out there and race your race and just try to stay focused on getting to the finish line, because it's anybody's game when it comes to mud. There's so many things that could happen. There's so many things that can go wrong with the UTV, crashing, different things, people getting stuck in the mud. So you just got to go out there and not give up and keep going and keep it on 4 wheels.
That will be key as always. Perhaps a bit tougher here. Camp LeJeune, Jacksonville, North Carolina, and the mud all having at it here with the Fly Racing Pro Women's class.
Sarah Price looks like falling into that second spot. Shelby Anderson getting the best of her, and whoa, Sarah Price falling way back, causing a bottleneck. What is going on with that Polaris Razor? Sarah Price. Meanwhile, Shelby Anderson checking out, and Jolene Van Buet right behind her.
Fox Proving Grounds, first time through. Van Buet clean off that big jump. Right-hander upcoming. Anderson on the outside, Van Buet on the inside. As we Odyssey Battery on board with Shelby Anderson. There's that right-hander. No view of Van Buet yet. Left-hand sweeper.
Jolene pushing Shelby Anderson. Wow, this is a heck of a start. I think the best start we've ever seen out of Jolene Van Buet.
Sat in second for a bit a race ago. Fell back quickly with a mechanical issue. And almost upside down is Van Buet. She's got to gather it back in.
And Jolene pushing hard. And man, just getting out of sync in that rhythm section there in the Walker Evans whoops. Looks like Maddie Cox finding the edge of the course as well. Jolene Van Buet already sucked up that gap. She's already made a few seconds back on Shelby Anderson.
4 wheels of fury from that pink Rockstar ride.
Whoa,
inside! Upside down is Sarah Price.
That is not something you see every day. Sarah Price pushing it and coming in, hooking the inside berm up and over.
What happened here? Slid in a little too hot?
Slid in a little too hot and tried to cut the corner. It's a little bit elevated there. Picked up the tire. She tried to steer into it. She just couldn't save it. Steer, steer, steer. Boom. Sarah Price, not a mistake we see her make very often. Already looking at the points championship. Man, how is this going to affect that battle with her and Shelby Anderson, who is currently leading?
Things are definitely going to change. Sarah Price still on her side, waiting for some help. Yes, someone, anyone.
Sarah begging for help. We got a couple of track workers with a local yellow. They're going to try and get her up and over, but Sarah, she's seeing these drivers just click off laps.
Has anyone seen the Marines? Can we bring them out?
Man, you know they've got some heavy equipment that can get that Razor back over.
Sarah Price needs some help. She's going down a lap right there. The leaders pass by. Shelby Anderson, along with Jolene Van Buet in the Rockstar Fly Racing. Oh, man!
Jolene Van Buet, Shelby Anderson checking up for that double. Jolene Van Buet seeing an opportunity, pinning it to win it, and it looks like, wow.
Oh, everybody lucky to be okay. You wanted a sunroof in that, didn't you, Shelby?
Look at that. Oh, man.
Nasty collision in the Fox Proving Grounds as we go E3 spark plugs on board for the replay of the installation of that sunroof.
Instant Polaris Razor convertible for Shelby Anderson.
Red flags wave in Jacksonville.
The 2016 Terracross Championship on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Polaris Razor. By Mystic Lubricants, the official racing lubricant of Terracross. Learn more at mysticlubes.com. And by Sedona Tire.
Jacksonville, North Carolina became a town in 1842 in honor of President Andrew Jackson, and in 1941, Camp LeJeune moved in. It's been a partnership ever since.
Coming to our town, you'll be eating and dining right along with the military. You'll see them out everywhere. It's pretty obvious who they are and what they've been doing. You can see where they train. You can see where they go to church. You can see what they do in their free time. And this is a town that's very proud of being the host to these military members. It's a wonderful exposure. Many of us had never heard of this type of event, but clearly we know that the Marines and sailors of Camp LeJeune and the New Air Station love this type of activity. And this is something that feeds right into things that they like to do. They're great outdoorsmen. They're people who want to be experiencing new things. And so all of this is just wonderful to have Terracross in Jacksonville.
Single file restart in the offing, and this is why. Red flags would wave after Jolene Van Vught took the top off of Shelby Anderson. That was 1 and 2 running Jim Beaver.
Shelby Anderson, Jolene Van Vught running 1 and 2. One of the best starts to a Terracross race I think Jolene Van Vught has ever had. And man, just jumping a little too far and coming down on top of Shelby Anderson. We're gonna re-rack them, restack them, have a full blown restart here midway through.
These Polaris XP Racer 1000s that you can get from your local dealer are meant to blitz all kinds of terrain. I don't think they're meant to blitz each other. Don't try that one at home, kids. Back underway, Shelby Anderson maintains her lead off the start. Mystic Mangler up first. She is clear. First of a couple of sweepers.
See, I think what we've got here, Shelby Anderson, she's out front. She shed a little bit of weight by losing the roof there. A few pounds, and I think that's giving her a little more power to weight ratio, and she's checking out on the field.
Fox Proving Grounds Moto Shield Pro on board with Shelby Anderson. Oh, look at how violent that is now it's Sierra Romo in second place, pushing.
Sierra Romo, newcomer to Terracross, not a newcomer to UTV racing. She's taken a lot of victories out in the Southwest, running in various different UTV racing series. Sierra Romo, at only 16 years old, is quite the veteran behind the wheel of a Polaris Razor.
Shelby Anderson figured she'd be dealing with her friend Sarah Price in second place. Hasn't been the case so far. Price already 1 lap down before that restart.
You know, Shelby Anderson, she is thinking checkered flag right now. She's thinking points championship. She desperately needs a win to narrow that gap to Sarah Price, who is currently leading the points.
Anderson a little bobble there. Can Romo take advantage? Back about a half a second. 999 Optics on board once again with Shelby Anderson. This is how you do it sprint car style. The mud and the muck. Mud, dirt, sand, nothing stops these Razors. It's the women right now. Jason Luberg and the pro men are up shortly. Camp LeJeune playing host to stop number 2 on the Terracross 2016 schedule. What's it like to be a Marine?
I have a number of my fellow Marines that I trained with and worked with on this wall.
You come out here and you see all of these memorials, and I think the one that really hit me was seeing the dog tag on the 9/11 memorial, because you see that's something that that person owned, and seeing, oh, they were born in the same year that I was, and they were born in the same time, and just seeing that, I think really got to me, because it's like, I can't imagine doing the things they do for us, and it's just incredible that there's people out there that are going to sacrifice their lives for somebody else's, and they're so selfless, and it gets to me, just stuff like this. I'm just overwhelmed with appreciation, and you don't really think about that stuff, especially since we're out here racing, but you see actually how many people sacrifice their lives for us, and it just is an overwhelming emotion that just gets me right in the heart.
Sometimes it's best to realize that there are far more important things in the world than what you are doing right in front of you, and it feels so big, all the race results and all the training and everything that goes into being good at Terracross. Kevin Barnett alongside Jim Beaver, bringing you the Fly Racing Pro Women's class, and we're again on board with Shelby Anderson, who continues to lead this race.
Looks like Shelby Anderson has pulled a few car links on Sierra Romo, sitting there in second. But I got to tell you, Sierra Romo, like we said earlier, quite the veteran at 16. She knows how to make up time, and she's not scared to take a few risks out on track.
2 laps to decide what it's worth. How far do you push it on this course that continues to get deeper and deeper? 15 inches of rain having fallen in the last few days in the Jacksonville, North Carolina area. Incredible work done by the track crew. All this dirt brought in by Morton Trucking, the Gregory Poole Cat machinery doing the best that it could and creating a race course out of what would have otherwise been a swamp.
Right now, Shelby Anderson, she can taste that ever-elusive first Terracross victory. And the big news is if she can continue to lead this and walk away with a win, she's going to gain some massive points on Sarah Price for this season championship.
Shelby Anderson so close a race ago. The last corner, she got passed by Sarah Price. Can she guide her Bud's Tire and Wheel Walker Evans ride to the finish line in front this time? Look at the push from Sierra Romo.
Sierra Romo dropping the hammer. Looks like she's made up a few positions on Shelby Anderson. Shelby definitely not wanting to give this one away. We saw her lose the event at Heydays in the very last corner. You know, she's got to be replaying that through her head.
Last lap. Full tilt behind her, Sierra Romo. Can she find some space? Will it be in the Fox Proving Grounds?
Sending it through the Fox Proving Grounds, up and over that double. These two ladies, man, they are putting it down here at Jacksonville. Shelby Anderson, a couple corners left. She can taste that victory right now. Is it gonna happen? Is Sarah Price's streak gonna be beat? I gotta say yes at this point, Sarah Price. Something bad's gonna have to happen to about 5 cars.
One left-hand turn left to go. Romo pushing hard into the corner. Giving it everything she has, it's not enough. Shelby Anderson wins. Sierra Romo in second. Sweet redemption.
Look at Shelby Anderson pumped up. Her very first ever Terracross victory in the women's division, breaking Sarah Price's streak at 8 consecutive victories. Man, what a race.
I was waiting for the donuts. We thought it was a close race before. How about that? 1/1000th of a second between Anderson and Romo.
Wow, Sierra Romo, talk about a talented young racer to push in her very first ever women's race in Terracross to get that close to a victory. Very impressive.
Shelby Anderson unwraps her first win. The Polaris winners interview now.
Shelby Anderson, you have been hunting this win for so long. When you grabbed that lead the first time, how do you keep your emotions at bay?
I was mainly just trying to stay calm and be consistent, and I know there was a couple wrecks. I know Jolene actually landed on me, and I felt pretty bad about that because we would have had an awesome battle, but I just can't even describe how I'm feeling right now, and my dad actually came out here on his anniversary to be out here with me, so I hope this is a really awesome present for him and my mom, and I also want to thank Bud's Tire Pros for getting me out here. I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them, and everyone at Terracross, Joe, Jeremy, everyone, and it's an awesome group of ladies that we're racing with, and I just can't even be any more excited than I am right now. I finally got the win that I've been hoping for, and hopefully we can carry the momentum the rest of the 2 finals.
Shelby, thank you.
Thank you.
Anderson finally atop the podium and betters her points situation. She now leads
by 1 point. Talk about a battle. 2 rounds left to determine the 2016 Women's Championship. 1 point. Man, these are going to be a couple of great races we've got left this season.
Back down to Lorette.
She takes second, and it wasn't easy. This course was so difficult, wasn't it, Sierra?
Yes, it was by far the most difficult track I have done.
How did you get through it all?
I just tried to keep it on all 4s, keep the momentum going, and avoid carnage.
Great job.
Thank you.
Romo is sure to be a factor in the future. The weather a factor now for the Monster Military Hero Class presented by Oak Grove coming up. This has been a way to support the troops.
We're out here at Camp LeJeune putting on a show for the soldiers, which I think is really cool to be able to give back and show them some entertainment, but also get some of them involved.
I think it's really cool being here. I hope that we bring something cool to them that they want to see and give them something. But, you know, because I don't ever get to give back to them, you know, so that's really cool that hopefully this helps.
Meeting these people that are such heroes and the reason why we can race cars, because we have our freedom, it's really, it really puts you in your place, kind of. It makes you humble, and it's really cool. And I can't thank our troops enough for giving us that opportunity.
I applaud them for everything they do, so I'm glad we were able to show them a little bit of our world just to, pump them up.
I think it's awesome to be out here supporting the troops. I know a lot of Marines have already come up to me this weekend and said, we really appreciate you coming out here. It's such an awesome form of entertainment. And I just look at them and kind of laugh, like, you guys do way more for us in the country than we can do for you. So this is just a little payback that we can give to them to put some smiles on their faces while they're on deployment or they're stationed here at camp. So it's awesome to just be out here and support them and give them back just a little bit for what they do for us.
Camp LeJeune, home to the Expeditionary Forces in readiness. Who's ready next? It's the Monster Military Hero Class presented by Oak Grove. Can anyone stop Skase? Stop number 2 in the Terracross 2016 racing season. The Monster Military Hero Class presented by Oak Grove up next, and Jeff Skase has a lot of ties to this racing.
We're very honored to be here, to be a sponsor for all the vehicles, be a race sponsor. And last year we were one of the title sponsors. We sponsored the starting line and we sponsored Sarah Price, her vehicle. Obviously Sarah did a great job representing everybody, including Optimus. Thrilled to be part of her team. Since we're on every vehicle as the starter motor manufacturer, and we're just out here talking to all the athletes, I just couldn't take it anymore, and I had to get out here and race myself. So this year I officially get to race. They're doing a military class, and since I have a military background, Joe was gracious enough to allow me to race as well.
Terracross starts with Optimus, and the Monster Military Hero Class presented by Oak Grove did just that. 3 racers came to the line. Jordan Walker was a local driver. He would join Paul Thacker out of Anchorage, Alaska, who you know well if you've been following this series. This is his brainchild, and there is Jeff Skase. And this was a 3-person race that quickly went down to 1.
Jeff Skase getting the whole shot early in this one, followed by Paul Thacker. Paul Thacker, unique Polaris Razor in that it's got hand controls in it. Paul doing everything with both hands, steering, accelerating, brakes, the whole works with his right and left hand.
Certainly a unique way to drive a Razor. However, first time over the Mystic Mangler, both he and Jordan Walker would stop. That would leave Jeff Skase all alone. Run some practice laps with championship points attached.
Jeff Skase taking the victory. Man, Jeff Skase, pretty impressive. You got to wonder if next year maybe he's going to jump into the pro men's division.
We've merged everyone else into the Mystic Shootout. Why not? Throw him in there, see how he does. Next up, the Razor XP1000 Pro Racer class. The sun is out for this race. Can Jason Luberg continue his run? Luberg so dominant in the Pro Racer class. But these conditions are trying. Track getting better. Actually amazing what Luberg and his companions were able to do.
Definitely impressive. These super muddy conditions, these GBC and Sedona tires digging through the muck, finding traction. Right now though, Razor XP1000, it's all Jason Luberg up atop the standings.
17 points clear in the season championship point standings. As we look down on the line, the next to last race of the 2016 season about to get underway. It is an inverted start. Cody Raiders and others will have work to do from the back. Meantime, up front, Nate Martino of USG in the N8. Outside of him, it'll be the 11 of Ray Bullock in the ATVRiders.com Razor XP1000. Moving back mid-pack, Brian McLean out of Marietta, Georgia. And Andy Ives, North Branch, Minnesota native in the HMK Polaris ride. Terracross starts with Optimus as we look at our starting grid. Remember, inverted, so a lot of work to do from the back. Luberg, Thomas, Raiders, all sitting towards the back of the field.
3 of the fastest racers, 2 of them Mickey Thomas, Jason Luberg, shooting it out for that points championship. There we've got Dominique, longtime Terracross brand ambassador, holding up that 30-second board. It's about time to go racing out here in Jacksonville.
It's hot, it's wet, and it's muddy. The action about to be all of those things.
Remember, guys, we changed this track quite a bit. So
10 seconds. Don't forget, you want to be looking at those back 2 rows. Cole Coutu, Cody Raiders, Mickey Thomas, Jason Luberg, 4 of the fastest coming from the back.
What can they do in the Walker Evans whoops? After this left-hand turn, we will see Razor XP 1000 Pro Racer class underway. Slow start in the back of the field. There's Raiders. Fox Polaris ride. You'll see him up here, the Mystic Mangler. Meantime, out front with a great start was Ray Bullock, ATVRiders.com.
Into that Fox Proving Grounds, airing it out.
Second half of this is a little tricky and kind of wet right now.
Look at Nate Martino coming through the Fox Proving Grounds on the gas. Man, that Razor getting whipped sideways, just hammering it down, pushing that thing to the limits.
Moto Shield Pro coating on these vehicles, getting a workout. Pushing it to the limits is Ray Bullock. Bound and determined to keep that lead is the number 11.
Be watching as these laps tick off. Jason Luberg, Mickey Thomas, Cody Raiders, they're going to be working their way from the back. It's going to be tough. Muddy conditions. They're going to be going through a lot of tear-offs, fighting through this muck and madness. And look at that Mystic Mangler, the ruts.
E3 spark plugs on board with Andy Ives. You can tell where he is in the race. Mid-pack means you are soaked in mud. Terracrossracing.com is where you want to go to know about this racing series.
The USO as an organization opened its doors in 1941. This particular center opened its doors in February of 1942, and due to the leadership aboard the base, the civilian community, and the enormous support of volunteers that we have never closed our doors. So always trying to be a service member's home away from home.
USO stands for United Service Organizations. For nearly 75 years, the USO has been the nation's leading organization, serving the men and women in the U.S. military and their families throughout their time in uniform. From the moment they join until their assignments and deployments are complete, as they transition back into their communities, the USO is always by their side. Today's USO continually adapts to the needs of our men and women in uniform and their families, so they can focus on the mission at hand.
999 Optics on board. Second place, Andy Ives in the hunt for that leader spot.
So often with an inverted start, you expect things to change quickly, but no. ATVRiders.com, Ray Bullock in the 11 maintains front of the field.
Andy Ives right in the hunt, though, only about a second back. Just putting the pedal down, trying to get any traction he can out here in this mud.
Oh, over the top goes Ray Bullock. There's a mistake.
Wow.
Ives to the front.
Man, throwing it away. Ray Bullock in the lead. Andy Ives inheriting the lead now. He's got to be pumped in that HMK Polaris Razor up and over the Mystic Mangler. Wow.
Heartbreak for the number 11 Ray Bullock. What happened?
Looks like he cut inside. There's a big berm built up. Same scenario as Sarah Price earlier on. Just couldn't keep it together once it got up on two wheels. Up and over, slow rollover. Heartbreak City for Ray Bullock. Andy Ives got to be pumped. He's got to be smiling under that helmet right now.
Andy Ives was just lurking like Chuck Norris. He wasn't sleeping. He was just waiting.
Look at him air it out over the Fox Proving Grounds. Andy Ives, he's got that clean air. He is taking advantage of it.
Jim, I'm not sure anything is clean at this point.
No, good point there. Look at these Polaris Razors completely covered in mud. Guys going through their tear-offs. They got to be down to only a few left at this point, trying to conserve tear-offs and make their way through this muddy course.
Coutu and Thomas have made moves. They are getting closer.
Coutu, Thomas both know how to win. Whoa, we got somebody into that swamp over there. Looks like they made their way through. Odyssey Battery on board with Jason Luberg, and Jason Luberg's another one. He's in the hunt. He needs to make up some ground. It's all those crucial points for the championship.
Luberg not waving at anyone during this race. He is chasing Raiders directly in front of him in the 16.
Remember that championship battle. It is Mickey Thomas and Jason Luberg, 1 and 2 in that championship battle. Luberg needs to get around every single Polaris Razor that he can, make up that distance to Mickey Thomas.
Well, the good news for Luberg is there is a pack in front of his GBC Mystic Razor 1000. Pushing and pulling. Drivers going to the front. Ives continues to lead through the left-hander that claimed Ray Bullock just a few moments ago. The Razor XP 1000 Pro Racer class. It appears to be Andy Ives' race. Can he bring it home? Will he hold off the best UTV drivers in the world? More Terracross racing from the mud of North Carolina next on CBS Sports. Welcome back to Terracross from Jacksonville, North Carolina. This weekend has been a test for man and machine. If you're gonna go play in the mud, you gotta find a way to get clean. Moto Shield Pro, innovative new product in the space.
And you can see the vehicle is just full of mud, and this was just, we can really see the product where it's gonna repel off like real easy, and then you can clean the vehicles real easy for the next week. Get rid of all the chemicals guys use to clean the wheels, to clean all the body, and have all that runoff. Now you just need water and just rinse everything off. That's kind of how our premise is. What we did is we actually coated the hat and t-shirt with our Moto Shield upholstery product. Basic spray on, completely clear. It dries in minutes, and the effect of it is quite simple. You'll see it just literally beating water. We want to go green, and cleaning without chemicals is basically what it is.
I'm gonna spray my kids in that every day in the morning, just to make sure they stay clean all day.
Oh man, hey, it's a green product. You don't have to worry about anything.
There we go. Kevin Barnett alongside Jim Beaver. This is the Razor XP 1000 Pro Racer class. Jason Luberg, who has been our points leader and is our defending champion, is buried in the field. He sits in 6th, but no one's sitting there bouncing around, coming through the Fox Proving Grounds.
Andy Ives currently leading this, looking for his very first ever Terracross victories, followed by Brian McLean in the 2nd spot. And Andy Ives, been a veteran of the Terracross Championship for a couple of years now, also works for Polaris Razor. He'd like nothing more than to bring this thing home.
Well, that tough left-hander, people continue to look a little bit out of shape. There's a look back at our early leader, the number 11, Ray Bullock, ATVRiders.com. He was up front, threw it away just before the finish line. Moto Shield Pro. Andy Ives on board again. Taking a little check over his shoulder to see who's back there. Looks like he's pulled some tear-offs here, Jim.
Pulled some tear-offs. You got to wonder, he's only got a few left. And look at these Razors. Now, you got to understand with the mud, it makes it so much harder on these race cars. The mud packs in, the car doesn't cool as well, the suspension doesn't work as well, and you can see earlier on in the race, you go through places like the Walker Evans Whoops and the Fox Proving Grounds, these cars were going a lot faster. Drivers are still driving just as hard. The car just won't allow them to go as fast because everything's getting overheated because it's not cooling as well with the mud packed on.
Don't forget these Razor XP 1000s. You can buy them at your local dealer. These are identically prepared. Customize yours today. 110 horsepower, just shy of 14 inches of suspension travel. They will rip the land.
Mickey Thomas all over the back of Andy Ives. Look at those Walker Evans beadlocks and GBC tires working together. Man, these cars trying to rip the tire off the bead, but these rims not allowing it to happen.
Andy Ives with some company. It's Mickey Thomas in the 44. This corner, he's up the outside. He'll set up for the inside in the left-hand sweeper. Does he have Ives? He does. Thomas to the front. Whoa, look at the wheels hang on, as you mentioned, Jim.
Taking the pass stick. Andy Ives still all over the back of Mickey Thomas.
Oh, where's he going? What's
Mickey
he doing?
Thomas taking a swan dive into the mud pit.
What was this, a mud bog? Here's the pass for the lead. Sets it up, coming down the Fox Proving Grounds. This is thinking a couple of corners ahead, Jim.
Mickey Thomas setting this pass up for a couple of corners, tucking inside of Andy Ives, taking the bad line on the corner before so he could get the good line coming into this corner.
But now what's he doing here in this left-hander before the finish?
Honestly, I have no idea. Just taking a swan dive into the mud pit, and it looks like it drowned the engine a bit. The only thing I can think of is possibly cooling the car off, but that's not something you want to do when you're leading.
Mickey Thomas is no longer leading. Andy Ives back up front. A couple of laps remain. The conclusion of the Razor XP 1000 Pro Racer class when we return.
The 2016 Terracross Championship on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Polaris Razor. By Mystic Lubricants, the official racing lubricant of Terracross. Learn more at mysticlubes.com. And by Open Trail.
Round 2, Camp LeJeune in Jacksonville, North Carolina, playing host to Terracross 2016. Kevin Barnett alongside Down and Dirty radio show host Jim Beaver. And we are a couple of laps away from the end of the day for these pro racers.
Andy Ives currently leading in the hunt for one of those elusive Terracross victories.
Mickey Thomas, who inexplicably threw his Razor XP 1000 into a mud puddle while leading, is doing everything he can to get back to the front, but Ives made the mistake once. Looks as though he will not do it again.
Ives, the veteran, knows these Polaris Razor XP 1000s very well. He's going to only do what he has to push this Razor to stay ahead of Mickey Thomas. Very aware of his surroundings at this point.
Penultimate trip through the Mystic Mangler for both those racers. It is 4, 4, and 4 up front. Two cars, the 4 and the 44. Fox Proving Grounds.
Up and over through the Fox Proving Grounds. These poor Polaris Razors. These guys have put them through death and back, just hanging on to this 10-lap main event. Wow.
Little bobble by Ives. Thomas has closed the gap. He's right on the bumper. Looks outside. Can he bring it back inside through the sweeper? Sets him up. Ives drives it perfectly. Left-hander, this has been tricky right before the finish. 1 lap to go in just a moment. And again through the puddle.
You gotta wonder with Mickey Thomas, second time he's gone through that puddle, there's gotta be something going on. We said earlier that these cars tend to overheat in the mud. He's a veteran racer. He wouldn't make that same mistake twice. Mickey's got to know what's going on. His car's got to be overheating. He's got to be driving into that mud, getting the water to splash up on the radiator to cool everything off so he can finish this race.
Can Thomas even make it through? We will see. Ives with some distance now, different than the last time through the Fox Proving Grounds. Lap traffic in front.
Cars coming up short on that double here in the Fox Proving Grounds. These Razors just hanging on.
Here comes Thomas. Lap traffic in front of Ives. Thomas to the outside, gonna maybe try and slide back in. On board with Ives. You can see Thomas in the rearview mirror there. One left-hand turn away from the checkers. Thomas, not enough.
Wow, one more corner. I think Mickey Thomas would have had it. It's going to be interesting to find out after this race what was going on there. Big shout out to Andy Ives, though, taking that victory, holding off the veteran Mickey Thomas.
Andy Ives, HMK Polaris Razor XP 1000 to the front in the #1 spot. Just behind him and hanging on was the 44 GBC Mystic of Mickey Thomas. And here is Jason Luberg, who was our points leader. Just now coming across the finish line. That inverted start was not good for the #1.
No, it looks like that #1 Polaris Razor, Jason Luberg's had some problems, missing some fenders. It's going to make for a tight points battle as we wrap up the 2016 season.
Andy Ives victorious. HMK and Polaris happy to see him on the top step of the podium. And now they get a chance to see him in the Polaris winner's interview with Laurette Nickel.
Congratulations to Andy Ives taking his first win of the season. This was a tough one. How did you put it all together?
It was a tough track out there today. I mean, the guys did what they could with the conditions we had, but you know, they got out of the water, they cut off the track, and it was fun. It was a little rough out there, but we had a good time for sure.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Andy Ives holds on over Mickey Thomas. Matt Hancock, what a showing for the 93.
Great showing by the 93. Great showing by Nate Martino. A couple of guys we don't always see up there fighting for podiums. Stoked for those guys.
Mickey Thomas takes second place, and that inches you closer to the championship. Were you thinking about that out there?
Yeah, absolutely. I knew going into this, Jason has me by, I think, 15 points, so I need to keep chipping away at that championship lead. I started dead last with the invert from yesterday, which put me in a pretty tough situation here with all the mud, but you know, I got up to second and I started having some overheating. I decided to dip into this water, use some of that to cool the motor off. It worked out really well, and you know, I came away second, so I'm super pumped.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jim, you mentioned the maturity of Mickey Thomas in this season, a veteran-type move there to keep his Razor 1000 running.
Very smart. Not a lot of guys would have done that. Mickey Thomas, though, sacrificing the victory as he looks at the season points championship.
Matt Hancock thinking about victory, third place.
Congratulations to Matt Hancock taking third and now securely moving into that third place position in the championship hunt. Were you thinking about that third place?
Yeah, very much so. I got a good start, so I didn't do that great in qualifying, so I was in the middle. So a lot of the fast guys had to invert and start in the back. So luckily me, I was in the middle both rounds, and I took a second yesterday. Pulled down a third today, and before the race they told us we were in a three-way tie for third, and Mickey was in solid second, and he got around me today, and I saw there was a good amount of people braking, and I just stayed consistent and knew that I had to finish this race to get third in points, and so we got one more round left, and I just wanted to get through this and not break the car, because it didn't really matter if I took second or third to really get, because the people behind me were the ones that I was battling with in points, so I'm pumped to be up there.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
The Polaris Power Performer today had to be Shelby Anderson. Had the top of her Razor taken off, but it didn't matter. Shed some weight and go to the front.
Shelby Anderson, great effort by her to come away with her very first ever Terracross victory. Getting that monkey off her back, no longer chasing Sarah Price. She's the one that's being chased.
The monkey and Jolene Van Vught right off the back of Shelby Anderson. There is her first victory, taking the checkers for the first time in Terracross. Keep it on four wheels afterwards, Shelby. Excellent moment for that young racer who came so close one race before and delivered this time in Camp LeJeune. Track conditions improved throughout the day. Andy Ives, Shelby Anderson, Jeff Skase all take home victories. With one race to go, can Mickey Thomas catch Jason Luberg? We shall see. For my partners, Jim Beaver and Laurette Nickel, I'm Kevin Barnett. Terracross Racing has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.